one of the points of confusion I had with this game was, when do you know that you're talking about the leader, and when do you know it's the squad that you're affecting? So this says to just repeatedly click on it. Well, if you repeatedly click on the leader and look over on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see the leader moving forwards and backwards. When the two are in line with each other, that means you've got both selected. But if I now click on the squad, the leader's still going forwards and backwards. It's not the squad. An important point is that at the start of a round, before you move anything, you can change which lieutenant it is that's leading that round. So if I click on Lieutenant Stern, he will lead. If I click on myself, I will lead. So you look over here, you see now I've got Lieutenant Stern selected. It's him and his squad that are going to do things. If I click me, I'm back to me again, and it's my squad. What they want you to do here is move the leader by himself. Most of the time in the game, it will ask you when you try to move the leader by himself, it'll actually ask you, do you want to move just the leader or the leader and the squad? Here we go, finally done it. So to do that, you basically got to click on the leader. It doesn't, this business about just keep clicking away, it doesn't necessarily work. So you get this confirmation, that's what you need. So I'm just going to move the lieutenant. So in these early scenarios, you typically will have 3 orders for each of your lieutenants, and it costs 2 points to bolster and 1 point to move. And then you might need another point to move your lieutenant as well. So you're going to need your lieutenant is going to be with the unit, so he can move it and bolster it. Otherwise, you're probably not going to be able to achieve much. What we have to do is go and attack this house here, and there's also another unit down here, an enemy unit. If you move the bolstered leader in the squad, the umpires won't like that too much. What they will like is if you move as many units in the squad as possible. As I said, one of the most confusing things about this game when you first play it is, whose round is it? Up the top of the screen is the person whose round it is, and that also is moved up and down depending on which one you have selected. This is a trick question. The point is to not salute, but to still say sir. This is an important point. Control right click is what you've got to remember in order to set waypoints. In this option, if you have to control right click or you'll lose points, because the umpire will say you're going to be attacked by a sniper. So you do it by control right click, and control right click the last one, and then you right click on the target hex. This is another point of confusion that you may encounter because Lieutenant Unnamed has finished his round and is spent. And so you naturally try and go to the machine gun and try and fire the machine gun. You just click away and nothing happens. Now the reason is that it's not the Lieutenant Stern's round, it's still Lieutenant Unnamed's round, and you have to end the round so you can then move on to Lieutenant Stern and just hope that the enemy doesn't shoot at you in the meantime. And again, you may be a bit confused because you clicked on the end of round thing and nothing seems to have happened, but in fact now you can click on Lieutenant Stern and it's his round. So I can click on there and then tell it to shoot. So at this illustrates an important point, because if you look at Lieutenant Stern, he's still got an order left, and so has the machine gun squad. So you could fire the machine gun again, but the game is telling you not to do that, but to end the round. Now what that means is you could still shoot with the machine gun, because as long as Lieutenant Stern has orders left, you can come back to him just by ending the round. Eventually, by ending the round, you'll be able to come back to him. So don't panic and use up the machine gun fire, because you might need that machine gun fire against another enemy. And in fact, there is another one hiding in the woods here. So do as it says, and you'll notice that it says that Lieutenant Stern is leading, so it's his round at the moment, and it's his platoon that's over here. So we'll hit the end round button, and now, well, that's not very helpful, is it? It doesn't say that Lieutenant Unnamed is leading any, which is what it should be doing, but that is in fact what's happening. But I can click on Lieutenant Unnamed. Now what it actually tells you to do is control right click, but if you try to do that, you will just end up shooting it at the enemy. What you should do, in fact, is control right click to get into position, and the best position is one that's on the enemy flank. So you do that. So that's control right click, and then just right click for the final one. Now, you see what's happened here is you don't now have enough points to bolster your squad, but you do have enough points to tell it to assault. So that's the unfortunate consequence of this control right click first move. But hopefully it'll still work, because we're going to do it from the flank. So if we select both of them, then we hit the assault button. And it works. It is important to flank. If I'd gone straight in, he probably would have failed. And that's when I mentioned that, that was the third squad of the first platoon that did that assault. And that's why I said you should improve the experience of that unit. So now we've done the first assault, if you look at the experience of the third squad of the first platoon, it now has 44 experience points. So if we had upgraded its experience beforehand, it would now be over 100 points, and it would be on to first level. The commander, he's up to 90 experience points for having taken part in that assault. So it's very important to get him involved in these assaults in order to get his experience points up. So he's very close to getting to first level.